In 1955, a farmer in Kansas could burn his fields at sundown, water 300 heads of cattle straight out of the creek, and shoot a hawk off his fence post before breakfast. If you do all three of those today, and you are looking at a stack of federal paperwork and a fine that could run past $10,000. Here's the part that is going to bother you. Some of these outlawed methods actually worked better than what is sitting on the shelf at your farm supply store right now. Number 14 on this list was banned in 1972, and soil scientists at Iowa State just spent years proving it built richer topsoil than anything we replaced it with. Number 3 was outlawed decades ago, and a study published just a couple of years back admitted we may have thrown away one of the best tools a farmer ever had. Hit that subscribe button before we get going, because what your grandfather did on his land might make you look at your own fence line a little differently. Let us count down the 25 forgotten farming methods that could land you in a courtroom today. Number 25, torching the stubble after harvest. Every October in Nebraska and Iowa, a man would walk his fields at dusk with a can of matches and set the whole thing alight. It cleaned out weed seed, cooked off the corn borer larvae hiding in the stalks, and left a fine gray dusting of minerals across the ground by morning. Cost him next to nothing and saved him 2 full days behind the disc. The air that time of year smelled like wood smoke and turned dirt, and folks say you could tell whose land you were driving past just by the color of the flame against the horizon. Next spring, that scorched ground came up cleaner than anything a chemical company ever bottled. Try that now, and most counties will hand you a burn permit application thick enough to use as kindling. And if the smoke so much as drifts across a highway, you are facing fines starting at $500 and climbing well past $10,000. Number 24, the hand dug well by the barn. Before drilling rigs showed up in the 60s, a man with a shovel, a pickaxe, and about a week of sweat could put a well down 100 feet from his own back door. Sweet cold water came up in a bucket on a rope, and that same well served the cattle, the kitchen, and Monday's laundry. Nobody worried much that the manure pile sat close enough to smell it. These days, wellhead protection rules keep drinking water at least 100 feet from any livestock. Some states push that to 200. Dig one now without a permit and a certified contractor, and you are staring down fines and cleanup bills that can top $20,000. Number 23, dusting the orchard with lead arsenate. From the turn of the century clear through the 1940s, apple growers in Washington and Michigan coated their trees in a chalky white powder that wiped out the codling moth without mercy. Yields climbed, wormy fruit disappeared, and a barrel of the stuff cost about $3 and lasted the whole season. Then somebody finally tested the dirt underneath those orchards. Lead and arsenic, it turns out, never really leave. Land in central Washington still fails residential safety standards to this day, and the cleanup bill has run past $20 million. Spray it now, even on your own dirt. And federal hazardous substance fines start at $30,000 per incident. Number 22, chickens running loose along the county road. In 1948, a farm wife might keep 60 layers that wandered the yard, crossed into the neighbor's pasture, and roosted in the apple tree come nightfall. She never fed them much of anything because the yard fed them for her. The eggs had yolks the color of a sunset because those hens were eating grasshoppers and ticks instead of pellets, and losing a few to a hawk was just the cost of doing business. Let your birds roam onto a public road today, and you can be hit with a livestock at large citation, and if a flying hen causes a fender bender, that driver can sue you directly, since bird flu became a national worry. Quarantine violations on loose poultry can run anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000. Number 21, castrating a calf with nothing but a clean pocket knife. Every spring in Texas and Montana, a rancher did this the same way his father had. A sharp blade, a fast cut, a dab of pine tar, and the calf was walking again inside 5 minutes. No vet. Bill, no anesthesia. A skilled hand could work through 300 head before supper. Plenty of ranchers swore those calves healed quicker in the dry spring air than anything done under sedation today. Now, doing this the old way on an older calf can trigger welfare statutes in several states, with fines running up to $5,000 an animal, and the real possibility of a misdemeanor cruelty charge attached to your name. Now, here is where this list stops being nostalgic and starts getting genuinely uncomfortable, because not every one of these bans was about protecting you. Some protected the land. Some protected a competitor's bottom line. Number 20, turning the hogs loose in the oak woods across Appalachia and the Ozarks. Farmers drove their pigs into the hardwood forest every fall to fatten free of charge on acorns and hickory nuts. That practice traces back to Spanish settlers in Florida in the 1500s, and it survived in some hollers clear into the 1970s. A man could turn out 40 hogs in October, gather them up in December weighing 200 pounds apiece, and never spend a dime on feed. Researchers at the University of Tennessee actually tested that acorn-finished pork not long ago and found omega-3 levels 3 times higher than anything raised on corn. The old method made better meat. But the Forest Service now bans free-ranging livestock on public land entirely, and a hog caught loose can legally be shot as feral. Turn your pigs out today in Texas or Missouri, and the fine can run past $5,000 a head. Number 19, burning the brush pile. Every farm kept one corner stacked with dead branches, broken fence rail, and scrap lumber until the pile got lit on some still November evening. Kids roasted hot dogs over it, the ash went straight into the garden, and the whole mess disappeared for free in about 3 days. Now every state runs open, burning through an air quality board. Most demand a permit filed 2 days ahead and light that same pile on a red flag day near any structure, and you are facing fines of $1,000 a violation, plus the bill for a fire truck if one has to roll out. Number 18, buying raw milk straight off the farm. Right up through the 50s, the normal way to get milk was to drive over with an empty jar and hand a neighbor 2 cents. Kids rode along just for the trip, mostly to beg a taste before it ever got home. Still warm from the cow, cream so thick you could float a coin on top. And the best butter you ever tasted came out of that same jar. A wave of tuberculosis and brucellosis outbreaks changed the rules, and the federal government banned interstate raw milk sales outright in 1987. 19 states still ban on farm sales completely today, and a Pennsylvania farmer got hit with a $5,000 fine and had his entire inventory destroyed in 2022 for nothing more than crossing a state line with a jar of milk. Number 17, shooting the hawk that took your chicken. Every farm kid in 1950 grew up with a single-shot rifle and a simple rule. A hawk that hit the henhouse got dealt with, and eagles that bothered the lambs got the same treatment. Most counties actually paid a bounty for it. The Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act existed on paper since 1940, but nobody enforced it hard until the Migratory Bird Treaty Act got real teeth in the 70s. Shoot a red-tailed hawk on your own land today, and the federal fine runs up to $15,000 with 6 months in jail attached. Shoot a bald eagle, and you're looking at $100,000 in a year behind bars. The bird eating your chicken now has more legal protection than the chicken does. Number 16, docking a dairy cow's tail. Through the 90s, dairy farmers across Wisconsin and New York routinely put a rubber band around a calf's tail so it fell off clean within a few weeks, all in the name of keeping manure out of the milking parlor. Herds that were docked scored measurably cleaner on milk quality. Then California banned the routine practice in 2009 over animal welfare concerns, and a handful of states followed suit. Do it now in a banned state, and you can face cruelty charges plus fines up to $5,000 an animal, on top of losing your dairy certification entirely. Number 15, butchering in your own barn and selling out of the truck bed. Before federal meat inspection tightened up in the 60s, a farmer could drop a steer in his own barn, hang it in the smokehouse, and sell quarters to his neighbors for half of what the grocery store charged. A whole hog ran about $40 in 1962 and fed a family clean through the winter. Now anything sold to the public has to go through a federally inspected facility with only a narrow custom-exempt path around it. Hand a stranger a butchered chicken off your tailgate without inspection today, and you are facing federal fines up to $10,000, with criminal charges sitting right behind it. This next one might be the saddest loss on the whole list, because the science backing it up came in decades too late to matter. Number 14, treating seed wheat with mercury. From the 20s through the early 70s, wheat and oat farmers planted seed coated in a pink fungicide called Panagen, and it flat out worked. Smut and bunt, diseases that used to wipe out a tenth of the crop, disappeared almost overnight, and yields jumped 15%. Here's the part nobody expected. Soil scientists at Iowa State went back decades later and found that ground treated with that mercury coating still carried richer microbial diversity than fields treated with anything that replaced it, because it knocked out competing fungus without touching the bacteria underneath. The ban came in 1972 after real tragedies, including a New Mexico family whose children suffered permanent neurological damage from eating treated seed grain by mistake. That ban needed to happen, full stop. But what got buried along with it was a fungicide that, used correctly, outperformed anything sold today. Apply it now, and you are facing federal fines starting at $50,000, with hazardous waste penalties stacking on top by the day. Number 13, strychnine on the ridgeline. Out in Wyoming and Montana, every sheep rancher kept a tin of strychnine sulfate on the tack room shelf. Coyotes were killing 30,000 lambs a year by the 50s, so a man would lace a dead carcass and leave it on a ridge, and the coyote never made it far. A pound of the stuff cost about $2 and protected an entire flock for a season. The EPA cracked down starting in 1972, and today it is legal only for underground rodent control by a certified applicator. Use it for predator control on your own ranch now, and you commit a federal offense with fines up to $50,000. And if a golden eagle turns up dead near your bait, you could be facing felony charges. Number 12, crop dusting cotton with DTIT. From the end of the war through 1972, cotton farmers across Mississippi and Texas sprayed their fields 3 or 4 times a season, and the boll weevil that had gutted southern cotton for decades, it simply vanished. Malaria disappeared from the rural South right along with the mosquitoes breeding in the farm ponds. A pound of it cost 20 cents, and you could spray 100 acres for under $15. Then Rachel Carson published her book in 1962. Biologists started documenting eggshells thin enough to crush under a nesting bird, and the EPA banned it outright in 1972. That ban is the reason we still have bald eagles and brown pelicans. No argument there. But cotton farmers spent the next 3 decades paying 10 times more for chemicals that worked worse. Use it today, and federal fines start at $37,000 a day, with Superfund liability waiting if it reaches the groundwater. Number 11, draining the wetland for corn ground. Across Iowa, Minnesota, and the Dakotas, farmers spent over a century laying clay tile and cutting ditches to turn soggy prairie potholes into cropland. By 1985, half of America's original wetlands were gone, and a 40-acre swamp that once pastured 6 skinny cows could suddenly grow $8,000 worth of corn. Then the Swamp Buster provisions landed in the 1985 Farm Bill, and the Clean Water Act tightened around them. Drain even half an acre now without an Army Corps permit, and you face civil penalties up to $56,000 a day, plus a restoration bill that can run into the millions on a project that started small. Number 10, letting the herd drink from the creek. For 2 centuries, the simplest way to water cattle was to fence the pasture around a stream and let nature handle the rest. Free, easy, and the cows cooled off in the bargain on the hottest afternoons of July, standing knee-deep in swishing flies while a man leaned on the fence rail and watched. Studies in the 90s finally showed what all that hoof traffic was doing downstream, dumping bacteria, sediment, and phosphorus into the water. Now, in states like Vermont and Oregon, giving cattle direct access to a protected waterway can cost you between $1,000 and $10,000 a day until you fence it off and pump water instead. Your great-grandfather watered 300 head from that creek without spending a cent. Do it today, and the bill comes by certified mail. Get ready, because this next one is going to be the most uncomfortable stop on the whole list. Number 9, fertilizing with night soil. Up until the 1940s, small farms, especially Chinese-American truck farms in California, used waste hauled straight from outhouses and city cesspools to feed their non-food crops and orchards. That practice came over from a tradition 3,000 years old, and it produced cabbage and melon yields that made neighboring farms look sick by comparison. A farmer paid the sanitation man 50 cents for a wagon load, and that single load fertilized half an acre. Even treated sewage sludge today has to clear strict federal testing for pathogens and heavy metals before it touches a field. Spread raw waste on cropland now, and you're looking at a Clean Water Act violation and potential criminal charges with fines starting at $25,000 a day. Number 8, the open hog lagoon. From the 60s through the 90s, every large hog operation in North Carolina and Iowa stored its manure in a massive uncovered clay-lined pit the size of a football field, left to break down on its own before getting pumped onto fields. Cheap, simple, and the smell carried for 3 miles on a bad day. Hurricane Floyd tore through dozens of those lagoons in 1999 and sent millions of gallons of hog waste straight into the Neuse River. North Carolina made its moratorium permanent by 2007. Build an uncovered lagoon today, and you are facing state and federal fines that can clear $100,000 with criminal charges attached if it ever reaches surface water. Number 7, lead shot for whatever showed up in the yard. Every farmhouse kept a 12 gauge loaded with lead birdshot in the corner, and crows, raccoons, and woodchucks all got the same welcome. A box of shells ran about $2 and lasted the whole season. Then biologists started finding ducks dead in the marsh from swallowing spent pellets, and Fish and Wildlife banned lead shot for waterfowl hunting back in 1991, with California extending the ban to all hunting statewide and federal land following close behind. Use it now on a wetland or federal ground, and you are facing fines up to $15,000, and they can take your gun along with the money. Number 6, the burn barrel out by the fence. A 55-gallon drum sat behind every farmhouse, and into it went feed sacks, cardboard, cracked plastic buckets, and anything else that piled up during the week. One match at dusk, and it was gone. Nobody thought twice about the smell. Turns out those low, cool fires release dioxins and other toxins at rates higher than a real incinerator, because the plastic never gets hot enough to burn clean. Most states have banned farm trash burning outright now, and lighting a barrel today can cost you between $500 and $10,000, with federal charges stacked on top if any of that trash once held pesticide. Number 5, feeding antibiotics right along with the daily ration. From 1951 clear through 2017, feed-grade antibiotics went into hog, cattle, and poultry rations as a matter of routine, and the animals grew faster and stayed healthier, packed together in tight quarters. A few dollars a bag bought you 10% more weight gain. Once antibiotic resistance became a genuine public health emergency, the FDA's veterinary feed directive shut the practice down in 2017. Every medicated feed now needs a prescription and a paper trail, and using antibiotics purely to fatten an animal faster is flat out illegal. Get caught and fined start at $15,000 an incident, along with the loss of your license to produce. Number 4, bulldozing a stock pond wherever you needed one. For 200 years, a rancher found a low draw, ran a dozer across it for a Saturday, and let the next rain fill it up for 50 years of free cattle water. The Clean Water Act redefined what counted as federal water back in 1972, and the Army Corps started claiming jurisdiction over drainages that only run wet a few weeks a year. A Wyoming rancher made national headlines when he got hit with a $20 million fine over a single stock pond. Build one today on land that drains anywhere near a protected waterway, and the permit process alone can eat a year and $10,000 in engineering fees before you ever pick up a shovel. Number 3, dusting the potato patch with Paris green. Decades before lead arsenic came along, growers in Maine and Idaho fought the Colorado potato beetle with a brilliant green powder mixed straight into flour and dusted over the rows. It killed beetles on contact and stayed effective for weeks, and a single pound treated 5 acres for 40 cents. Here's the part that should make you angry. A study a couple of years back went back through the historical records and found that beetles never build up resistance to that old arsenic compound the way they build resistance to every spray we use now within a handful of seasons. It was banned in the 60s over arsenic toxicity, and rightly so, but nothing since has matched how well it worked. Apply it today, and federal hazardous substance fines start at $50,000. Number 2, plowing straight down the hillside. Through the 1920s, hill farmers in Kentucky and West Virginia plowed their slopes straight up and down behind a horse because it was simply the easier line to walk. Every hard rain carried another layer of topsoil into the creek below, and nobody knew any better because everybody farmed the same way. The Dust Bowl changed that overnight, and the Soil Conservation Service proved to Congress that plowing along the contour of a hill cut erosion by 70%. Today, federal crop insurance and farm program eligibility require an approved conservation plan on any steep ground, and plow a hillside straight down now, and you can lose your insurance, your program eligibility, and face state runoff fines starting at $1,000 an acre. Number 1, breaking virgin prairie for the very first time. From the moment the Homestead Act opened the plains in 1862, clear through the 1980s, The American dream on that land was simple: break the thick black sod with a moldboard plow and turn 10,000 years of buffalo grass into wheat ground. A man could homestead 160 acres, plow it under in a single fall, and pay off his land in 3 good harvests, and the first year weed off virgin ground often out-yielded anything his neighbors back east had ever pulled from tired old field. The Dust Bowl was the first warning that soil built up over 10 millennia does not stay put once it is turned. The 1985 Farm Bill made that warning permanent with its sod buster provisions. Convert 100 acres of untouched native prairie into cropland today, and you can lose every federal loan and every dollar of program support your operation depends on, with state penalties on top that can clear $500 an acre. Here's my challenge for you. Think back on your own family. My own grandfather burned his stubble every fall, watered his herd straight from the creek, and never once thought twice about a hawk near his hen house. Every single one of those would cost him a fortune today. Tell me in the comments which one of these your own family used to do, and tell me straight, do you think we got it right banning these, or did we throw out some working knowledge along with the danger? Because here's the honest truth of it. Some of these rules saved the bald eagle, cleaned up our rivers, and kept poison out of our children, and no amount of nostalgia changes that those bans needed to happen. Others just took hard-earned knowledge away from American farmers and buried it under paperwork and quietly handed the advantage to whoever could afford a lawyer and a permit fee. Your grandfather could tell the two apart without a single degree behind his name. He just watched his own land long enough to know what helped it and what hurt it. Now you know it too. And maybe the next time somebody tells you the old ways were simply backward, you will ask them which kind of ban they are actually talking about.